Hello, my name is Jonathan Forster, and welcome to the Multi-Story Thinking Podcast. I'm an interior designer and educator. My job is to improve quality of life and productivity by helping people to create beautiful and practical spaces to live and work in. The Multi-Story Thinking Podcast takes an educational slant to the interior design world. So sit back, relax, as we help unravel the mysteries of interior design. In today's podcast, we interview Cathryn Bishop. Cathryn is an interior designer and educator who set up and directs Cornish Interiors. We specialise in high-end interior design for both residential and commercial clients. And she is the course leader for the Interior Decoration, Design and Styling course at Plymouth Art College. I met Cathryn with my co-host Kay Hanson in the studios of Plymouth Art College prior to the COVID lockdown. In this episode, we discover the importance of building and using a network of contacts, how team working can help to deliver projects, and how to select the perfect floor colour, how being made redundant prompted Cathryn to set up her own business, and why you should be on your guard if Cathryn is approaching you with a couple of scatter cushions.
When I first started teaching the degree, so I've been teaching here for 5 years. When I first started, I was very much still leading projects for Cornish Interiors.
Yeah.
So I had a first year only, so that was doable. I could kind of flit in and out. As the course has got bigger and we've got now full 3 years, it's just not doable to do that. I've got 2 interior designers who work for me who are both super talented. So they run the practice. Gradually, basically, they've started to take the lead on projects to the point where clients don't ask for me by name now, which is a great position to be in from a small business point of view. That's the dream.
Yeah. You're still in control, but actually more hands off.
Day to day, they run it, and they're brilliant. They come to me with any issues. We price jobs together, or if there's particular things that they want help and advice on, then we're there. But really, I'm really hands off.
How did you? So you were. I see you as kind of the figurehead of Cornish Interiors. How important is it for you to be seen as that person leading the company?
Yeah, it's a really good point, actually. So I think it's still important, and I think lots of people still know me as that. We've won lots of new business because people are used to dealing with me, and I am, well, as you know, I am very chatty. I am very a little bit nosy, and into other people's kind of business, and so I think that helps us win projects because I can be that kind of figurehead. But I think probably from when I first started Cornish Interiors to now, what I've realised is in order for it to be sustainable as a business, it needs to be able to function without my leading it. If I don't plan to, but if I ever wanted to sell it in the future, it would need to function without me. And for me to be able to, the thing that was the crux point of it was when I got pregnant and knew I was going to have a baby, I knew I'd have to take time out, and that's the first time I've had to take time out of my working career ever. And that forced me to stop. I did nothing for 4 months to do with the business, and that was great because it showed me, oh look, it's fine without you.
Was it scary at first?
Yeah, terrifying. The thought of leaving your that was my baby before Zelda was my baby. So for the first time you're leaving it, I think it was great for Lynn and Vicky, who are the 2 designers who work with me, for them probably to have the opportunity to not have me around. It was great. They realised actually they can
give them a bit more independence.
And they're both older than me. They're both equally as qualified, if not more experience-wise. So they're more than capable. And it probably just gave them the opportunity to do it.
Yeah.
We set it up in such a way that obviously I knew I was pregnant, so we had time to kind of say, right, actually, I'll finish up this project, I'll hand over this project to you, so you've got time to meet the client, all of that sort of stuff. So it was all very structured. I think what I didn't realise, because I'm a bit of a control freak and a bit of a workaholic, what I didn't realise was how flawed I would be by having a kid. By how much I wouldn't be able to just be like, oh, I'll shove the baby on my hip and nip in for half an hour.
Yeah.
That first 4 months, I literally didn't think of I didn't even think of it. And that surprised me, because I thought I'd be just popping Zelda in a baby carrier and on site.
Carrying on as normal.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I wasn't.
Clearly difficult for men to even comprehend the impact, of having a baby.
And it's the you're recovering from the physical trauma of it as
Mm.
well. And this thing is dependent on you and physically dependent on you. I was breastfeeding Zelda, so I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, she was on a building site at 4 months old in a baby carrier.
Yeah.
That's about the right age, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Started her off in the industry.
She have a hard hat?
No. Why don't they make tiny baby hard hats?
That's cute.
It's a gap in the market there.
She was on site for a photo shoot at 4 months old, which was hilarious.
Yeah.
So do you still spend time in the office then weekly?
We have a scheduled catch-up, and if Lynn and Vicky, who work with me, hear this, they will laugh. We have a scheduled catch-up every Wednesday where we talk about current projects and anything that's cropping up. Realistically, we meet up periodically. We went for brunch the other day, darling.
Nice.
To have a catch-up, which was actually really nice.
What's your go-to breakfast then?
Oh, we went to the Ocean Studios.
Oh, right, yeah.
Went to the cafe at Ocean Studios, and I think we all had poached egg on toast or dippy egg and soldiers.
That's a bit old school, isn't it? Take us back to when you set up Cornish Interiors.
Ooh.
And where were you before then? If you
Yeah.
Education-wise, and what made you take the jump into working for yourself?
When I was at school, I wanted to be a detective. I didn't want to be an interior designer.
Me too.
So I wanted to be a detective.
Chief Inspector Allen.
Oh, really? I like it. I read a lot of Sherlock Holmes, and then I was very arty at school. I went to did A-level art and drama and French, and then went on to Falmouth when it was Falmouth Art College before it became Falmouth Uni. Did my foundation year, specialised in sculpture at the end of it. But I think my tutor kind of tried to steer me to something vocational. So I did a degree in spatial and interior related design at Suffolk College, way away. And so I did my degree.
Did you make the choice, a conscious decision to move
Yeah.
further afield?
Yeah, having grown up in Cornwall, and being at Falmouth was lovely, but it was too close to home. I was driving home at weekends, still, working in the local sports centre. I wanted to get out of Cornwall, which I think happens to lots of people wherever you're from in the country. You want to get out of your little patch for a little while, don't you?
I think so, yeah.
So I went to Suffolk, which is as far away as probably I could get in the country. Was there for my degree, and then I didn't work in interiors when I first got back. I ran a fine wine merchants in Padstow. I was an organic chef and care worker for someone with cancer.
Wow.
I did all sorts, and then I went travelling for a year, and I came back, and a friend of a friend said, there's an interior design job going in Plymouth. Plymouth hadn't been on my radar for where I wanted to end up, but it was hospitality, so it was, and lots of my work experience had been hospitality related.
Yeah, I was going to say those jobs probably put you in good stead in just understanding user experience.
Exactly. So I'd been a waitress, I'd worked behind a bar, I knew how, having super high seats behind you was a pain in the neck for the waitress. I knew how it operated, So that's why I got the job. It was not just that I had the degree in interior design, it was that I had the hospitality background. So that was for a property developer. And that's what I did. For 3 years, I worked for 2 different property developers. First one was very much commercial, so hotels and restaurants. And the second one was much more residential, like big residential development in Somerset. And then the reason I set up Cornish Interiors, I don't think I ever would have taken the plunge, but I was made redundant. It was 2008 when the recession hit, and the whole company were made redundant in an afternoon, basically. At which point I called up everyone I knew and said, do you know of any jobs going? No jobs going, but plenty of people were like, oh, actually, no, we haven't got that, but we've got a restaurant that just needs a bit of, someone started designing, it needs finishing, or a couple of things like that. And kind of organically, I was like, I seem to be running my own business here. So that's where it came from. With the crux point came when I was temping for a company in Plymouth. As in temping, like on the phones, headset. I think I was working for the council, taking phone calls about rubbish on the waistline. I had a friend of a friend again said, Jill Stein's landed this amazing job in Cornwall. She wants someone to help her with it. Would you be interested? And I think I called her up that day, arranged to go and meet her, had an interview. She called me back and said, yep, would love to work with you. And I think I handed in my notice within about 2 seconds and said, I'm off actually. And that was pretty dreamy.
That's a great opportunity, isn't it? And is that just being in the right place at the right time, or and obviously a lot of hard work with in terms of your experience and project work?
I think it's not just being in the right place at the right time. I think it's networking.
Yeah.
I think the networking thing, as cringy as it sounds, is just essential.
Yeah.
So I knew. And also I told everyone I was looking for work.
Yeah.
So I told everyone I knew I was looking for a job.
Yeah, put it out there.
Yeah. And then I knew someone who was there at the time, was the general manager for Stein's. So he remembered that I'd said I was looking, and timing wise. And also I'd always wanted to work with Jill Stein. I'd written to her years ago, asking if I could. Yeah, and to this day actually I haven't ever showed her the letter because she wrote back to me. She was the dream. So talented as a designer. And a really good example of someone who, she doesn't have a formal qualification, but so talented that to get in with her was amazing. And I just learnt so much and afforded me the opportunity to work on the kind of projects that I just would never have had the opportunity to come across by myself. And in the same time period, I also picked up some project work for the National Trust. And kind of what happened with Cornish Interiors, because a lot of my clientele at the time were in the southwest. If you have Jill Stein or Steins and you have National Trust on your kind of list of people you've worked for, that just makes people very, very trusting.
Yeah,
confident in your brand, in your skill set, because they're very known names. So that really helped, push the kind of project that I would then be involved in.
And what's the balance of projects that you're working on currently then? Has it shifted at all since those earlier days?
Yeah, so early days I used to do a lot more commercial stuff. So I did a few hotels, restaurants, did a lot of design work for the National Trust, which sometimes was restaurants, sometimes was residential, rental property, like rental properties for them. It's shifted quite a lot, so now what we do is a lot of high-end residential and high-end kind of luxury rental property.
And that's all over the world, isn't it?
Yeah. So we've designed projects, some in the southwest, but Knightsbridge, the Lake District, Jersey, Barbados, New York, which sounds uber.
What a drag! What a drag!
I cried when I got the New York one. What a shame to have to do that. Yeah, no, they're really nice. I mean, locations-wise, a New York loft apartment, I think is on most designers' radar as a kind of pretty dreamy job, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you get to visit site, obviously.
Yeah. So I got to go to Barbados 3 times during the project. I went to New York 4 or 5 times during the project.
Are they the projects that you really enjoy?
One of the things I enjoy most is the team, getting to meet the team on every project. So, for example, the project in New York, we worked with, they're called Masana O'Rourke, an amazing architectural team who are kind of based between, they've got offices in New York and offices in California as well. Getting to meet an amazing New York-based project manager and the New York-based architect, and seeing how people work.
Are they different? Is it different?
Yeah, because you're designing in feet and inches.
Oh, of course.
You're designing in New York, they've got a completely different electrical system. Same with Barbados, you're designing in feet and inches. So with the Barbados team, we had an amazing... Our project manager was actually British, but based on Barbados. The architect was Bayesian, and most of the rest of the team were Bayesian. And, it was so exciting. I love that. I love people, and I'm nosy and interested in people. So the team each time is really... fascinating. And you kind of, on a high-end resi project, you're spending kind of 2.5, sometimes 3 years working on that project. You're getting to be really kind of close with people in that time, build up real relationships. Plus the travel. The exotic travel helps. Because not only are you getting to travel to those places and do your project, go on site, you're also getting to look around. So, we did lots of shopping in New York, looking for, we went around art galleries looking for artwork. We actually went round art galleries looking for the perfect colour of concrete floor. And then we had to take a photo of this perfect colour of concrete floor and get our contractors to go to that same art gallery to find that floor, and that's what we wanted to copy.
I always imagine that the detail in those particular projects is so important. And
we're appointed when the architect's appointed. So we're appointed at the point where we have an influence on, you know, where walls are, how the structural layout is, which is great. And we are there till the bitter end when you are the person hoovering up for the photo shoot. We order all the inventory for the client, so we are putting the glasses and the cutlery and crockery away
Finishing
in the drawers,
touches,
you know, down to what the client's reading. We're filling the bookcase with the client's book, you know.
So much detail.
So, yeah, there's a huge amount of detail.
I guess you get to know your clients on such a personal level then, don't you?
You're asking them whether they prefer a spatula, you know, or a kind of strainer to get their fried egg out of their frying pan. You know, that you're really, you know, you need to know what comfort of bed they like to sleep on, what their pillows are like.
That's how they full spectrum of specification then.
So the organisation level is huge, because you're organising every detail of someone's life almost, really. You're planning all of that stuff. So that's I'd say, kind of as an interior designer, how I always say it is, you need to be a bit bossy, you need to like being a bit organised, as well as the kind of design skills, you know.
So do you get involved with the procurement as well? Because I guess that must take up such a huge amount of your team's time, that side of the project.
Yeah, so we do all the procurement for everything from, you know, sanitary ware to large items of furniture down to the tiny items of furniture. So we'll be buying the bed linen, we'll buy the potato peeler, the spatula, the kitchen, you know, from the big items down to the really, really tiny items. So lots and lots of Excel spreadsheets.
And also an overview of the concept, I suppose, because you, in the potato peeler, that's the concept in microcosm, isn't it, in a sense?
Completely, yeah. So where you going
the detail's got to be right.
You're not buying it on Amazon like a kind of a plastic thing in kind of
consistent with the ethos that you're trying to create for the rest of the space.
Yeah, down to you know, you're spending a lot of time I've spent a lot of time choosing bed linen and glasses and cutlery, crockery that fits in with your client's standard of living and your client's design ethos for that space. Yeah, entirely.
Do you think that the cross-discipline collaboration is something that is really important to what you do?
Yeah, hugely. One of my favourite things, you were saying about what do you like about the projects, and another one of my favourite things is the opportunity to work with artists, or to work with joinery companies, or to work with someone who's designing a specialist light fitting. You know, that as a designer is really rich, isn't it? Being able to meet up with someone whose area of design expertise is completely different to your own and produce something kind of completely unique for a project. So I think it's really, and how much you learn from each other during that process.
I imagine as well, working, you know, in different countries and different design teams, I imagine it just broadens your horizons so much.
Yeah, in loads of different ways. So even down to things like, you know, I had to learn for Jersey, for example, you have to things like the tax of having furniture shipped to Jersey or having furniture shipped to Barbados or New York. Shipping, I didn't know anything about shipping furniture and how to declare furniture at customs in several different countries. I've learned all of that now. Something that I would have, you know, does that sound like it's in an interior designer's job remit? Probably not. So stuff like that I found fascinating.
If you've got some experience of, can really help a project move forward.
Yeah. Did you find when you were first learning those steps that it was overwhelming, or did it hold up the projects?
I think I've always, so with all this stuff, I think I've always kind of just been happy to throw myself in the deep end and been happy to, in a sense, fake it till you make it. Sort of say to the client, fine, I can handle this. And then you go right behind the scenes and kind of go, oh my gosh,
quickly Google.
Exactly. How do I handle that? Or like calling on friends to kind of go, right, I've said I could do this. So yeah, I think, and it's not till afterwards that you kind of go, wow, I learned how to do that. Right, okay.
Throwing yourself in the deep end.
Yeah.
Sure.
Those kind of projects, you have to have a really close relationship with your client, or do you? I mean, do they hand over to you to make decisions without checking, or?
It really varies. So lots of my clients, especially if they're repeat clients, we've built up a rapport to the extent when I know what elements of the project I need to run past them and what elements of the project I can make a decision on.
Yeah.
And it really varies from client to client. Some clients are really hands off and kind of want you to do it all for them. I've yet to have a client, and part of me would sort of love it if they'd just go, right, here's the keys on day one, I'll see you in 2 years, just give me it back at the end. That would be the dream to a certain extent. But I've yet to have that. There's always a level of involvement, and it depends how much. But I think a big part of it is lots of people who employ a designer kind of know how they want their space to look. They just don't have the bravery or the expertise to action it. So a lot of it is kind of hand-holding and pushing them to be braver.
Braver than they feel comfortable with.
Yeah, you're taking them out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
You know, they might have gone for a kind of a jade green colour on the wall, but actually kind of balked at the last minute and gone, oh no, let's just go with something neutral. And you're there to kind of go, no, let's push it, we can do that. And they trust in your expertise that you've done it before. I remember pushing the National Trust in a restaurant once to do a really, Hague Blue, Farron Ball Hague Blue on a double height wall in a heavily listed old barn. And I really pushed because I just thought it would look stunning. And to the point where I remember near the end thinking, oh God, like once they agreed, oh God, I hope it does look all right, actually having really forced it through. And it did, it looked great. Yeah. But you're there to kind of push them beyond what they would do by themselves.
I've just done the same thing, actually.
Yeah.
At Millfield School. But I got them to do the ceiling. And they were kind of like...
What colour?
Ooh, I think it was Hague Blue.
Oh, love a bit of Hague Blue.
Hague Blue.
It was very dark.
Yeah.
Blue, black almost.
I've got to get some of this Hague Blue. I'm struggling to visualise what it is.
And it was kind of...
It's like... She says,
really
looking
deep
around for something.
petrol blue colour.
Yeah, blue-grey, but really dark. Farron Ball OBS.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
did
not
see a Farron Ball shade card somewhere.
I've got a colour chart in the office.
Oh, that's where I saw it. Maybe.
Not far off that, Jonathan. Maybe a bit... I mean, it's that dark.
Deep, dark blue.
Yeah, that's good.
like
yeah.
that.
In that Linwood lampshade. Behind the cockerel.
Is it kind of midnight blue?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hague Blue. I haven't got
With
any
a bit,
Wi-Fi.
with a bit more grey,
I'd have to be able to tell you what it was.
It's difficult with interiors. Oh, there we go. That's nice.
Darker than it kind
Dark
of looks, though,
blue.
I'd say.
Because you can't mock it up, can you? You
Yeah.
can do visuals, can't you? But you can't replicate the experience of being in that space and being impacted by that block of colour.
Yeah.
Do you help to dress the spaces as well for your clients? So do you find that all that pulling together, is it kind of a bit of a nail-biting moment where you're like, oh, wow, this is
It's the most exciting bit for me is when you're right near the end and it's like Christmas. You're unpacking all this furniture that you've ordered. You know, sometimes you've ordered it a year ago.
Yeah.
And you've ordered it from like a swatch of fabric that's maybe the size of your hand.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden it's there as a sofa. You know, there's bits that you've designed it, so you've had confidence from the beginning that it's going to look good, but there's still bits that you're kind of like hand in mouth, feeling a bit like, oh,
this is a risk.
Yeah, but it's so exciting. The bit that always interests me is that there's things that you thought from the beginning were really going to work, and that was the bit that was going to hang the scheme together, and other bits that you were kind of not sure of. And sometimes that completely changes when you're setting it up and you're like, actually, the bit that I thought would be amazing is kind of like, yeah, it's all right. But the bit that I wasn't sure of is the bit that's really kind of pulling it all together.
How do you go about interpreting what the clients have asked you to do then? What sort of steer do they give you?
We spend quite a bit of time with them initially, talking to them about their brief, and at that point I just think it's really important to show them stuff. Talking about it is kind of valuable, but you get so much more from going, right, here's, like, you know, as an example, here's looking at a Pinterest board, and straight away you're kind of like, yeah, that's what I meant, or no, actually I really hate that.
And the no's help sometimes just as much as the yeses, don't they?
More, I think, for them to tell you, actually, my no-go areas, you know, I don't do orange. Yeah. For example, that's a really important thing to know about. Yeah, definitely. The things they don't like are as important, aren't they?
So you work across all of the work stages then, I guess, from the brief through the concept. Do you get involved in all of the technical aspects as well, perhaps all the joinery detailing and...
A lot of it, yeah. So we will quite often, especially for kind of high-end residential stuff, we'll design bespoke elements, but we would design them in such a way that we're prepared to hand them to a joinery company or a shop fitter.
Yeah.
And then they will produce the shop fitting drawings.
Yeah.
And we will liaise with them about details and often visit the joinery workshop to see it being made. So yeah, we wouldn't produce technical information to build from. Not typically.
To more design intention and then liaise with the detailing.
Yeah.
So I guess in your role, it sounds like you spend a lot of time investigating different details or going to look at things. Do you get more of an opportunity in the projects that you work on to kind of go to those places where things have been done before, or visit that factory where there's a particular beautiful tile?
Yeah, I suppose so. Like, I guess so. For example, when we're doing a bathroom and the bathroom's all done in natural stone and marble, I've been to a lot of locations. Like, I've been to a quarry in the Lake District to look for the particular stone that we were looking to have the bathrooms made out of. So that's really exciting. But then the other side of it is things like going to Maison Objet, looking at all of the furniture. And I suppose over the last however many years, getting to know all the suppliers that you would kind of be your go-to suppliers for.
You're comfortable and happy with the quality.
Yeah, but then making sure that you're not just kind of being safe with it. You're not just going, oh, well, I've used that before, so let's do that again.
Yeah, I guess it's about having the time to do it, really. I sense, maybe Kay back me up on this or respond, but the time we've got in commercial projects is much less.
And the budget.
Yeah. Certainly when you're getting down to the FF&E and the bits that characterise the space.
And I would say, like from my experience of commercial and hospitality projects, like 6 months is your turnaround to do a kind of cafe, and that's from meeting the client to delivering the final project. And that's much quicker. And actually, I really enjoy that. There's things about working on a project over 3 years that are really nice. You get to build really strong relationships. You can look for product that's on a really long lead time. But contrary to that, like if you're doing something that's on a short turnaround, there's a lot of energy involved in that, isn't there?
There's a gratifying kind of hit, isn't there, with something that's short and on site and completed, and it's like, wow.
Yeah. Also, if you have a really annoying client, it's done.
That's true.
Don't have to carry on working with them. Not that I've had many annoying clients, but you know what I mean? Like, grass is always greener, isn't it? If you are working for years and years on a project, what you think, actually what I'd love is to do something where I get the payoff after 6 months and I get to see it all and photograph it and it's done.
Yeah.
Versus that thinking, actually, God, I'd love to get really stuck into something and work on it for so in depth and look at all the details. So what's nice, I mean, the ideal is to have a practice where you kind of get to do both, isn't it? And
absolutely, I agree.
We do a really small, light touch thing at Cornish Interiors called a Design and Inspire, which is where we literally go out to a client's house and spend a couple of hours with them, come away and do them a concept for a room or a particular area of their business or whatever it might be. So really light touch. It's just like a kind of introduction for them to then go away and implement, and that's really fun because that gives you that kind of quick turnaround, bit of energy, like ideas generation, and without kind of going the whole way through the process.
It certainly gives you the confidence as a client to think, right, I can do something about my space.
And again, it pushes them to be bolder. Pushes them to kind of go, right, actually, I don't have to just play it safe. It's the hand-holding thing again.
You've run your practice, then a few years ago you sort of took a sort of slightly sideways step into education.
Yeah.
And you're running the course here. What people may not realise is that there's more than one place to study interior design in Plymouth.
Shocker.
Which makes Plymouth a really great place to study interior design, I think.
Doesn't it just? I think we can blow each other's trumpets here, exactly that.
And there are not necessarily subtle differences, but real marked differences in the way you're delivering your course here and the way we're doing it across the road at the university.
Yeah.
And we're not going to go into who's best.
Is this where we fight?
This is where we fight. The only way to sort this out...
Judge?
Kate judges, so I'm going to arm wrestle.
Yeah.
But I think just...
I'm very competitive. I might win, just even if it breaks my arm. I
haven't got very strong upper arm muscles.
So you're putting your caveats in now. Interesting.
What would you, if you had to fight for it, what would be your weapon of choice?
If I had to fight you for...
Yeah. And you're in an interior design studio, so there's no actual
scale
weapon.
ruler.
Scale
obviously.
ruler?
Scale ruler.
Oh, yes.
I could go a hot glue gun. Don't know if you keep glue guns over the at the uni.
I might just go straight for a computer monitor.
Would you? Brutal. I've got a step ladder over there. I'm sure we've probably got an iron somewhere.
There's got to be something.
What about a really, really heavy lamp? To be fair, if we're going to fit to the stereotype, we should fight to the death with scatter cushions.
Scatter cushions.
It's the only way, as an interior designer, isn't it? The only way.
Well, that's a bit of a stereotype, though, isn't it? Really, but
yeah, but I think that's why we should do it. Fight to the death with scatter cushions. It would be a long and painful, drawn-out process.
all that velvet. Thinking about the proximity we've got here, it's quite for students. That's a great choice, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're thinking about this location, many students are influenced by wanting to be in a certain part of the country. A good spectrum of choice.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah,
study
definitely. And I think between both courses, actually, we kind of offer, cover everything you need to know.
Yeah.
So, obviously, I speak with the Plymouth College of Art hat on, that we cover interior design and decoration and styling. So it's very, it's got a mixed degree from that point of view. So a lot of the kind of softer elements of design, the styling is a really big draw for people because there's not many courses that cover it.
Yeah.
From my point of view, from having studied it and then worked as a designer, the pull for me is that I want to make sure I offer all the bits that I kind of felt weren't covered in my own degree.
And it reflects your background as well, I think.
Yeah.
In many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. As does, I suppose, what we're doing is slightly more up the other end of the architectural
the more
interiors.
architectural end of the spectrum, exactly.
Yeah.
And there's certain people will really be drawn to one end of that spectrum and other people to the other, and which is nice because that's where I don't see us as in competition, really. Actually,
not really.
Because,
no, it's more about attracting more people in, isn't it, to the area.
Yeah.
How does your experience from working in industry impact on the teaching experience that you're delivering?
I think it's key. I know when I learnt during my degree, our tutors had kind of done interior design 20 years ago. They weren't doing it anymore. And I just think if you're still in the industry, you can just offer your students so much more relevant kind of experience. So, for example, I got out the other day the construction pack for the project that we've just done in New York as Cornish Interiors, and I was able to show that to our third year cohort and say, this is actually how a construction pack, and this is what it looks like in feet and inches. This is what you'd get in a real life situation, and times that by 1,000 of how many little things like that you can kind of.
And it's not stuff that you did 15 years ago.
No.
It's like last month or last year.
Exactly, it's relevant, it's up to date. You're connected in industry, so you can kind of help connect them in industry. Things like our second years are putting on an interiors trade show in about a month's time. You're both invited. That we're getting loads of suppliers, national suppliers, down to Plymouth to exhibit fabrics, flooring, lighting, etc. So I've been able to help them, as in I can call up my suppliers who I would typically see, who'd come to me, the reps that would come to me, and pass those contacts on to the students. And that's hugely valuable to them. Mm. And it's nice for me. I love being able to do that, like connecting.
Equally as well, I guess, because you're still in practice. Do you gain anything back from the students in their kind of quest to find out all
ideas.
Of the new
Every
new technologies,
every new scheme.
Don't tell anyone.
We're working on it now.
I never let them see anything that Cornish Interiors produces outside the college, just in case they guess. Hugely. They expose me to suppliers I've never heard of, to design movements I maybe haven't considered, loads of stuff, because you've got, whenever you're setting them a project, you've got 30 students coming up with results for that. So that's almost like a kind of hugely exaggerated research tool. They're going off and looking for all of these interesting things. So daily they come up with stuff that challenges my expectations of design. It's so energising. Really is energising.
It's particularly useful when they're designing for the type of sectors that they're experienced with, like student accommodation.
Yes.
We've got projects over the road where we're running student accommodation projects, and they come up with the ideas because they're living it as we speak.
First-hand experience, in the same way that we can say it's been a little while since we were
Yes.
in student accommodation.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I guess that kind of goes back to, your early days where you were waitressing and you were working in restaurants. It's that user experience, those early stages of the project.
The one thing I will say about it is it's not something I would have considered doing. Kind of, if I'd have seen myself somewhere in the future, education wasn't necessarily something that was necessarily on my radar. But now that I'm doing it, I love it. I just find that I take so much from it. I find it really inspiring, really challenging, but really inspiring. You just never know what question they're going to ask next, and to take someone from not even knowing what a skirting board is, when they start, or an architrave, things that you're kind of like, are you serious? And then at the end, they're your kind of most successful student, and they're so knowledgeable and way more skilled than I am, out into industry. I just find that really, really rewarding.
Yeah, it's that transformation. And
the learning curve.
I think that's one of the rewarding things about teaching, as you say.
Planting a seed and watching kind of what they do with it. Yeah.
What would you advise your students as they're setting out and then at the end of their course? Because they're the two kind of real big decision points, I think, as in your career. Where'd you go? What kind of interior designer do you want to be?
Yeah.
And then once you've finished, what do you do?
Yeah. Who am I now? I'm out of the bubble. Yeah. And I think the biggest thing, kind of, to look at it the wrong way around, when they're, as they leave, they've been in this, and I'm sure you have this, Jonathan, they've been in this protective bubble. You've been setting the briefs, even as you're, when they get to their third year and you're really hands off and they're writing their own briefs and you're just kind of facilitating, they're still in a bubble. And actually going out into the real wide world, what I've realised is it's trying to boost their confidence, because they kind of don't realise how skilled they are by the time they get to the end of their third year. So I think it's convincing them to have the confidence to really go for it, to have the confidence to know that the first job they go for isn't going to be their job forever. So it doesn't matter, but just to get one under their belt, and that the whole fake it till you make it, just go for whatever you fancy. You'll never be ready for the job working for Soho House in New York. Just apply. I think interior design is one of those careers that is, you studying a degree in it, you learn so many transferable skills for all sorts of other careers, like graphic style for your presentations, learning Photoshop, InDesign, AutoCAD, whatever, that can be applied to lots of different careers, learning how to manage a project. These are all things that aren't just about interior design. So it's something that I would always say, actually, you could do a degree in interior design and go and do a lot of other careers from it. And also interior design itself, there's so many people just think about designing houses, and that's it's so much bigger than that.
Commercial sector.
We've spoken to other business owners or other kind of lecturers or educators, and they've kind of said, don't be afraid to take the job that's not necessarily what you envisaged it was going to be right at the very beginning. So, Anna Hart, for example, she was working, not necessarily doing furniture design or interior design, but she was in
project administration
in a company that she really kind of was interested in, and that she could move and do a sidestep. And I did a similar sort of thing. I was architectural assistant, and knowing that I wanted to do interiors, but it was a company that I wanted to be in. So don't kind of give up if you've not got your perfect
completely
job.
And you learn so much from all of those that can be used for whatever you go on to do next.
And
I think the key as well to think about, no matter how much we can actually teach them, it doesn't really gel until they do their first job. And that's where it all will hopefully drop into place, and they'll understand the relevance of
That's the reason Jonathan was badgering us so much about doing it like that. So all that time, I know he's right now.
The first time you make the first mistake, that's a big learner.
I ordered £20,000 worth of radiators that were the wrong size. It was hideous.
What did you do, send them back, or...?
No, we had to skip them and start again.
You are joking.
Wowzers.
Yeah, pretty painful.
How was the client with that? Did they know? Did you manage to cover it up? Or?
Oh, no. I was hands up, straight up. I was like this happened. I was in a position where there was someone more senior than me that should have been overseeing it, but he had particularly slopey shoulders at that point in the problem. And so, oh goodness, it was a learning curve. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Yeah.
The sinking feeling in your stomach.
Oh, yeah. Desperately trying to find that email where somebody said it was okay.
And also, I think it's someone somewhere. I wrote that down, right? And it's also just the thing I say to students and anyone who asks me about design again and again, because so many people say about setting up their own business, especially as someone who runs their own business. The thing I say is to make your mistakes on someone else's time before you set up by yourself. Setting up by yourself and making a 20 grand mistake is very different to doing it when you're working in a big institution.
Yeah.
So learning on someone else's time and someone else's money. Is that okay to say?
I'm not sure that's quite the...
party line? Official party line?
As long as you get away with it on someone else's job.
Yeah.
Well, they have the resource and they have the...
you're going to make mistakes.
Commercial services department that can help you.
And you're going to make mistakes early in your career. You're going to make mistakes all the way through your career. And it's how you handle those mistakes that defines whether or not you can kind of keep going or not, isn't it? And some of them are 20 quid mistakes, some of them are 20 grand mistakes. Yeah.
And you do get, the bad days in our profession. Generally, it's a great profession to be in. But, you get the bad days and sometimes you get the really annoying client. And
you have clients who can be perfectly lovely and really lovely all the way through a project until something goes wrong. And that's when you see kind of a client or a designer's true colours, isn't it? It's when something goes wrong.
That's hard to teach, that, isn't it? How to deal with those sort of situations.
Covering your back because people can seem lovely and it can be it can seem fine to enter into a job with them without a formal contract. La la la. No, it's not.
Yeah.
Because it will sting you at the other end. Yeah.
Oh, we're going a bit sort of down and
dark,
here, aren't we? Let's lift it up with a bit more colour, Tor. What's your favourite colour again?
It's good to be aware of these things, though, especially if you are starting out and you are going to kind of be going alone and being aware of these things. It's good to... And I guess it's good for your students that they know that you've got that experience as well, that they can kind of turn to you.
We talk to them a lot about the pitfalls as well as the positives. But as you say, Jonathan, there are lots of positives.
Lots.
Well, that's it. It's a mixture of creativity and professionalism, isn't it, for interior design? And that's when it gels like that and you can transform people's lives, you really see the benefit of what you're doing.
There's never a dull day. There's always something different. Every project you do is new and you're learning something. Yeah, you meet a different team each time. All of that stuff just means that you're never... Well, I don't know about you, but I just never get bored of it.
I'd like to thank Cathryn for taking the time to speak to me and Kay. Listening to her approach to teaching and fusing her professional skills and experience with the learning process demonstrates a real opportunity to transfer her experience and knowledge and give students the skills to learn the business, find jobs once they've graduated. It's an approach that we also use at the University of Plymouth, and between the two courses there's a really great opportunity for anyone to find type of interior design that they would like to study. Both courses promote the fusing of professional practice and experience with creativity, with Cathryn's course focusing more on the decorative and styling end of the market, and our course at the University of Plymouth dealing with the more architectural application of interior design, and with a lot of crossover in the middle. I'd like to thank Dave Clark from I Am The How for production support and advice in the setting up of this podcast, Kay Hanson for her co-hosting and planning support role for these and our educational podcasts at the University of Plymouth, and Mark Frith for the music. I'd really like to hear your feedback on the podcast. Leave a comment or get in touch via Twitter. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.